Okay, everybody, we are gonna get started. Woo! Thank you for your enthusiasm. My name is Carly. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a fourth-year undergrad. This year, I have had the extreme pleasure of coordinating the Slugs Care presentation. So I'll just be over here clicking slides, laughing at their jokes. But I'm gonna go ahead and let some of the professional staff from our office introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Yay, Carly! Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Tona. I am an advocate at the CARE office, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm very excited to have you all watch this wonderful presentation. If any of you feel like you need to step out at any point, Carly will talk about that a little bit more. I'll be around if you want to check in or grab a resource card. So just find me if you need me, and we'll go from there. Also, for this special occasion, we have our CAPS psychologist in-house at CARE, Louisa Ladd. She is visiting. Yay! So that is very special. She hasn't been at any of the other ones. All right, I will let everyone else go ahead and introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is James. I am a fourth-year transfer from College 9. Oh, God, what's left? I use he, him pronouns. Fun fact about me is I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed 2 weeks ago.
Hi, y'all. I'm MJ. I'm a third-year student from Stevenson. I use she, her, and hers pronouns, and fun fact, I make balloon animals and sculptures on campus. You'll see that around.
Hi everyone, my name is Gianna. I'm a second-year undergrad. I'm a double major in literature and political science. I'm affiliated with Cowell College, and a fun fact about myself is that my sophomore year of high school, I ran a marathon.
Hi everyone, I'm Sakshi. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a fourth-year undergrad. And a fun fact about me is that I'm terrified of birds.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm a third year affiliated with College 8, now known as Rachel Carson College. And I'm use she, her pronouns. I'm an environmental studies and psychology double major. And fun fact, I can fit both legs behind my head.
Hello everyone, my name is Satvir. I use they, them, theirs pronouns. I'm a fourth year from Oaks College, and a fun fact about me is I grew up in a household of 14.
Cool, so the last thing that I want to say before we get started is that we all just want to acknowledge that this is a really heavy topic and can feel really intense, it can feel really personal. Something that we kind of do to handle that is make our presentation really silly and ridiculous and over the top. So please feel free to laugh. I think they're funny, they think they're funny. But it's also okay if you feel overwhelmed and upset, and I just want to reiterate that it is totally okay to take care of yourself, step out of the room if you need to, talk to Tona if you need to, take some deep breaths if you need to, all of those things. And then the final thing, which you may have noticed already, at UCSC we really love to snap. And so if any part of our presentation is particularly resonating with you, give our cast some snaps. It will kind of help them give you an awesome show. Thanks.
Alrighty. In this room, we are among survivors of sexual violence.
In this room, we are among survivors of dating abuse.
In this room, we are among survivors of stalking.
In this room, we are among those with family members or friends affected by sexual violence, dating abuse, or stalking.
In this room, we may be gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, transgender, gender nonconforming, queer, questioning, asexual, or none of the above.
In this room, we're among those of various cultural, religious, and socioeconomic backgrounds.
In this room, we have different levels of understanding surrounding sexual violence, dating abuse, and stalking.
In this room, we invite you to open your mind. We never know when this information may become essential.
In this room, we will learn something new about ourselves by listening to one another.
In this room, we may need a break from the information and give ourselves permission to step out and get the support that we need.
All right, so the topics that we're discussing today can be a little bit stressful, and I want to acknowledge that we're not here to scare you or to upset you. We're here to provide information. And because of that, we've laid out some ground rules for the presentation that help make us feel a little bit safer and you feel safer in the space.
Please show each other respect. Remember, everyone is coming from different perspectives, and all of their thoughts, ideas, and feelings are valid.
If anything makes you feel particularly uncomfortable, please take care of yourself. If you need to step outside or talk to one of us after the presentation, we are here to support you.
It is crucial that there are no side conversations during the presentation. It creates an unsafe space for the people speaking.
We ask that you share the information and resources learned here today with friends, family members, and partners.
Last but not least, it's always important to question yours and other people's assumptions.
We also want to make sure that we're on the same page. So we're going to define some terms that we'll be using throughout the presentation.
Dating abuse is a pattern of abusive behavior based on one person trying to exert power and control over another. The abuse can be emotional, verbal, physical, or sexual.
Most abusive relationships do not start out being physically abusive. The most common form of dating abuse is emotional or verbal. Abuse tends to get worse over time. Dating abuse can occur within any intimate relationships, regardless of gender identity or sexuality.
Stalking is defined as a pattern of repeated unwanted behavior that is targeted at someone and would cause a person to feel fear. This can include repeated unwanted communication, surveillance, showing up unannounced, or following someone.
Lastly, we define sexual violence as any sexual act committed or attempted without the other person's consent. Rape is just one type of sexual violence. It can be committed by a date, partner, spouse, family member, acquaintance, or a stranger. Overwhelmingly, sexual violence is committed by someone known to the victim.
Now that we have some working definitions for these terms, let's talk about what we've already been told about how to stay safe. So before coming to UCSC, what were some ways that you've been taught to avoid being a victim of violence?
I took a self-defense class in high school.
I always approach my car with my keys in my hand and check under the car and in the back seat before getting in.
I always call my mom when I'm walking alone at night so that she knows where I am and no one tries to bother me.
I carry pepper spray on my keychain. I've never had to use it, but I like knowing it's there.
When I'm walking down the street, I pay close attention to the sounds of footsteps behind me and cross the street if there's a guy across who I don't know.
I was never told to do any of these things. I don't think that I've really been trained to anticipate violence, even when I do feel unsafe.
Right, so none of these things are bad exactly. They all help us feel a sense of control over their safety. However, it's important to consider who these things are protecting us from and how likely we're actually to use them in an emergency.
Well, I guess they're mostly protecting us from strangers, like someone jumping out of the bushes.
Yeah, they are. But the thing is, most of the time, it won't be a stranger who commits assault. 90% of the time, it's someone that the survivor knows and trusts.
And it seems like we've only taught women these rules, as if everyone else is just automatically safe.
Yeah, but that's just not true. 1 in 6 men will experience sexual violence.
I also feel like these conversations always revolve around the experiences of cisgender women. And I know that trans and gender nonconforming folks experience some of the highest rates of intimate partner violence. So why aren't we talking about it?
What if the person hurting me is the person I'm in a relationship with? And I feel like everyone assumes that because I date women, then I'm not at risk.
Unfortunately, dating violence occurs just as often in LGBT relationships as it does in straight relationships. Violence does not discriminate.
I was always told that if I just paid attention, I'd be able to tell if someone might try and hurt me and know how to stop it.
I know what you mean. I'm really glad that I took that self-defense class, but I shouldn't need that to feel safe.
For years, we've told women all of the things that they should do to protect themselves. While some of these things are good safety tips for anyone to follow, such as awareness of your surroundings or drinking alcohol in moderation, it's also important to consider the underlying message we're sending about sexual violence and how to prevent it.
First, by teaching these strategies almost exclusively to women, we are ignoring that other identities are also at risk. For example, the Office for Victims of Crimes estimates that as many as half of trans people will experience intimate partner violence. We need to keep updating our statistics and our assumptions about who is at risk.
We also never talk about how a person's race affects the likelihood that they will experience violence. The Department of Justice estimates that women of color are significantly more likely to experience intimate partner violence and less likely to be supported by legal institutions. Students with disabilities are also twice as likely to experience assault in college. When we don't talk about these things, we're letting each other down.
Finally, we are also telling men that this is not their problem. We are ignoring that men are also survivors of this kind of violence. We are telling them that their only role is to not rape someone, when in reality, men can and must play a greater role in ending sexual violence.
We know that often these issues can be complicated and it can be hard to pinpoint when something is potentially unsafe or uncomfortable. Let's look at some example scenarios where behavior may or may not be crossing a line.
So I've been texting that cute guy from my bio class.
Oh my God, you've had your eye on him all quarter.
Yeah, it's awesome, and he definitely seems interested. He's been texting me a lot.
How much is a lot?
Almost all the time. First thing in the morning, after coffee, before lunch, during class, don't worry about it. At the gym, making dinner, study break. I mean, when he's not sleeping or showering or something. He's also been sliding into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram, replying to all my Snap stories, and I think he even found my Tumblr from when I was 15, and I think he's been leaving me anonymous comments about how cool I am.
Well, that sounds nice. He must be really interested in you. I wish someone was that interested in me. The dating scene was dead all summer.
Well, I actually feel like that's kind of creepy. Why doesn't he want to, let you have your own space? How do you even get anything done?
I don't. I mean, I text with a lot of people all the time, and I was pretty excited that he seemed so into me. But I guess I should also make sure it's not a big deal if I don't reply. I really like talking to him all the time, and I want to make sure he knows that I should have my own space, too.
Yeah, if he's not giving you any of your own space, that could be low-key creepy.
But it sounds like y'all are enjoying yourselves for now. Let us know if it starts to feel like too much, though.
Of course, you always know you get the play-by-play.
And you better tell him that he's not interrupting when the new season of How to Get Away with Murder comes out. We're watching it together.
I miss Brian. I keep seeing at the dining hall with this hot girl, and I think it's getting serious between them. I think they're in the same econ class or something. A few weeks ago, I started seeing them everywhere together, like the dining hall, the gym, the rest hall. The other day, I saw them studying at the library for 3 hours.
Wait, how do you know it was 3 hours?
See, what had happened was I was there when they came in, and I just didn't want to leave until they left. I wanted to see what was going on with them. I just miss him so much.
I know this breakup was really hard for you, but he seems to be moving on. Don't you think you should too? You sound kind of obsessed.
I just can't believe he moved on so fast. I thought for sure he would take me back. maybe I could write him a letter and wait for him after class, or I could send him flowers, or do you think I could send a carrier pigeon? Oh, no, I got it, okay. I can send him an edible arrangement, and then I can get his name tattooed on my ass in a heart.
Okay. You're crossing the line. Okay. Honestly, it sucks. It sucks that things didn't work out. It's shitty, but you both deserve space to move on.
It's just really hard. I don't want to let him go.
I know. It'll take time. I had to deal with this too, trust. I broke up with someone right before orientation, and it was really messy, and it was really sad, but it gave me time to focus on me, and that was really cool and interesting, no?
Really? I want to hear all about it over dinner. I need carbs.
Yes, pasta, let's go.
Sorry.
Aw, babe, that's so cute. I love you too. No, I love you more. No, I love you more. I'll call you later tonight. Bye. Okay, no, you hang up. Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You didn't hang up! Okay, I love you, but I really have to go. I have a pledge event, but I will call you as soon as I'm done. Every time we're about to hang up, he tells me he loves me and how he never wants to be apart. He's so adorable.
It's so romantic. It sounds just like a movie. He's so Christian Grey.
Really? Because that seems like it's putting a lot of pressure on you. What happens if you do break up?
We are not breaking up. He just really loves me. I love how he likes to take charge. He's really decisive, which is great because then I never have to plan our weekends.
So 50 Shades.
I don't know. That sounds like it's a bit too much. Like, shouldn't you be able to have a say? That much control seems kind of out of hand, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. I've never really thought of it like that.
And I mean, if you didn't want to like go out and do something, he would be totally cool with that, right?
I don't know. I guess I just usually let him make the decisions.
If it starts to feel like too much, you're absolutely safe in letting me know. I want to be able to support you if you decide to talk to him about it.
Yeah, same, me too.
I used to like how attentive he was, but I hear what you're saying. Let me think about it.
What kind of bigs would we be if we didn't look out for our little?
Hey.
In each of these situations, there are those who thought what was going on was okay, and others who thought that the behavior crossed a line. The most important thing to do is pay attention when someone seems uncomfortable and respect and support each other's limits and boundaries. If a friend is in a situation you think is potentially unsafe, try to communicate your concern in a way that doesn't make them feel judged, like telling them that you're there if they ever need to vent, or suggesting a resource on campus like CARE. We support people's decisions to be in any type of relationship that they want and have any type of sexual encounters that they want as long as consent is involved. So here's how we define consent.
Consent is based on choice.
Consent is active, not passive.
Consent is only possible when there is equal power.
Consent means 2 or more people deciding together at the same time to do the same thing in the same way with each other.
Giving in because of fear is not consent.
Going along with someone because they have authority over you is not consent.
Going along with something because of wanting to fit in with a group is not consent.
Going along to gain approval or avoid being hurt is not consent.
Being unable to make a decision because of drugs, alcohol, or other medication is not consent.
Being unsure is not consent.
If you won't take no for an answer, then yes has no meaning.
If you cannot say no comfortably, then yes has no meaning.
Now that we've given some definitions of what does and does not constitute consent, let's see some examples.
Yes, I want to have sex with you.
Hell no, I don't want to have sex with you.
Well, I have this really big paper to do. I mean, if you really want to, I'm really tired.
I'm not really up for it right now. I know we've done it before. I'm just not sure. Yeah, I know how you feel about me. Of course I love you. I just don't want to tonight. Look, I'm sorry. Okay, fine.
Let's look at each of those statements. The first person clearly wanted to have sex, and the second person clearly didn't. The third and fourth people didn't outright say that they didn't want to, but were clearly hesitant and unsure. Continuing to pressure someone until they comply is not okay. This is not active and enthusiastic consent, and wouldn't you only want to have sex with someone who's honestly interested?
For years, we have educated women about how to prevent sexual violence by trying to teach them to avoid becoming victims. We told men that no means no, as if sexual assault is really the result of miscommunication. And in relying on the gender binary, we ignored many people's experiences of violence. What we know is this is not effective, and only an active and enthusiastic yes means yes. We need to change the way we talk about sexual violence and adopt new strategies for ending it. Let's check in with a Saturday night in progress not far from campus.
How does that feel? Can I keep going?
That feels awesome.
Oh, wait, hold on. I need to stop for a second.
What do you mean you want to stop? I was so close.
I know, I just need to take a break. My head is spinning.
I know, I'm pretty hot, right?
Anyways, yeah, I think I might have overdone it with the hypnotic. I think I need some water, maybe some fresh air. Do you want to go for a walk?
Not really. Can't you just keep going? It's not like we haven't done this before. You were drinking hypnotic? The fuck is that?
Listen, I've been listening to a lot of Missy Elliott lately, and look, I need to go outside. I'm not feeling good, and you putting pressure on me is not helping. We can talk about this later, but I have to go.
Consent is a continuous process and can be withdrawn at any time. Being in a relationship with someone or having a history with them is not automatic consent. Also, people who are incapacitated cannot consent legally or practically. If there is any doubt or ambiguity, stop. It is not worth the risk of hurting someone. Communicate and respect each other's limits.
I'm really glad I let you talk me into coming out tonight.
Me too. I didn't think I'd meet someone who loves Bad Girls Club as much as I do. So my roommate's out of town. Do you want to come back to mine?
Yeah, sounds nice. I should let you know, though, I did just come out of a pretty serious relationship, and I'm not really looking to dive into anything.
And I'll let you know I'm not a one-night stand kind of girl, but I was thinking maybe we can get in our PJs, make out a little, watch a movie, maybe grab some breakfast in the morning. I have this new massage oil. Could be really fun.
I am so attracted to you right now.
When it comes to consent, it's critical not to make any assumptions. Going back to someone's room is not consent. Be upfront about your limits and ask your partners about theirs. Talking early and checking in regularly is essential for everyone to be safe and comfortable. These kinds of conversations are not only a key part of preventing sexual violence, but they also improve the quality of intimate experiences.
Yo, I have to admit, that was hilarious. The look on your face,
I know, I thought I was good at pranks, but these people are really raising the bar.
I have to give it to them. Well done.
The question is, how do we get them back?
Did you have something in mind?
Well, it has to be outrageous.
Why don't we film them?
How do you mean?
Okay, so I was looking online on Amazon. They have these cute little cameras. We can put them all over the room. Imagine the kind of footage we can get.
Whoa, spying on them in their room? That's kind of intense. I was thinking something more along the lines of saran wrap on their car or something.
Oh, please, these are big boys. We have to keep up.
Not if that's the direction we're going. That's such an invasion of privacy. Plus, we could get in so much trouble for filming them without their consent.
You're making it sound like we're raping someone. It would just be a joke.
I am not trying to see any of them naked. What if they were hooking up with someone in there? Would you want someone to do that to you?
You know, I see your point. Like last year, I lived in a res hall where women were being filmed in the showers. Like, it's pretty much the same thing. People were freaked out, people felt unsafe, and it wasn't funny.
Okay, it was just a suggestion. Let's do the car thing. Let's go to Safeway. How much saran wrap do you think we need?
Hella.
Consent applies to more than just physical contact. It's against university policy to record, photograph, distribute, or share intimate images without the consent of people involved. So if you receive a sexy photo from your crush, remember that it's for your eyes only. Never take intimate footage of someone without their permission. Also, y'all, don't be sending unsolicited nudes.
If they didn't ask for it, they don't want it.
Stop dick pics 2K17.
Okay. Now that we've talked about the language of consent, let's talk about the language of support. Victim blaming language puts the responsibility on the person that was harmed or abused instead of onto the person who assaulted or abused them. Whereas supportive language prioritizes health and well-being instead of looking to assign blame. Let's look at an example of how this might play out. In this scenario, someone is confiding to their friends about a distressing situation.
Something bothering you? You were on your phone during dinner and barely said anything the whole time.
Too true. I feel like we've barely seen you at all since you started with Lee.
I'm sorry. I was trying to be low-key about it, but we got into a huge fight before I left. They really didn't want me to come out tonight, but we spent the entire weekend together and basically every other night this quarter. Lee was pissed and yelling all kinds of things. I was afraid that I had to bail on our plans.
What were they yelling?
You know, it was just a lot of swearing and accusing me of things. They even threw my phone at me, and it was actually kind of scary. I was afraid Lee wouldn't let me leave.
Damn. Sounds like they have a temper. You need to be more careful about not making them angry. But hey, couples fight. I'm sure you'll get over it.
I just feel really guilty. Lee has been super stressed out about school this quarter, and maybe I should have just been more understanding.
That really isn't an excuse. This sounds beyond a normal argument. Throwing something at you, stopping you from leaving to see your friends, that's over the top. Does Lee always act this way when they're mad?
Not every time. Sometimes they'll just tell me I'm stupid and selfish and they don't know why they're still with me. But it only lasts a few days, and then Lee shows up with flowers and we talk it out and it's all good again.
Until the next fight?
I keep hoping that each fight is the last fight. It's getting worse if I'm going to be honest about it. Like a couple weeks ago, we were driving on the freeway in Lee's truck, and they're driving all crazy, and I was scared that we're going to crash. I was really freaked out, and I cried until we pulled over. But Lee's never hit me or anything like that.
I'm sorry, you don't deserve to be treated that way. I know you care about Lee, but this is not okay. Did you want to stay here for the night?
Yes, please. I just really need to clear my head.
This sounds serious. I think we should go tell an RA.
Whoa. Let her decide who she tells. Plus, most UC employees are considered mandated reporters, and they're required to share information with the school. If you want to talk to someone, there's an office in Kresge called CARE. You can talk to them about your options and not have to report because they're confidential. We can even request an appointment online.
Honestly, I think it might be worth it. I really want to talk to somebody about this relationship. It's getting really overwhelming.
I have a bunch of classes in Kresge. I could go to your appointment with you, or we could meet for coffee at the Owl's Nest when you're done if you'd like.
Seriously, thanks, y'all. I know I haven't been around much this quarter, but I really appreciate your help. Where's your laptop? I want to reach out to CARE.
Right this way.
A national 2011 poll showed that 43% of college women experienced abusive behaviors in their relationship, including physical, sexual, verbal, and tech abuse. The same poll suggests that 58% of college students do not know how to help a friend if they were a victim of violence. If a friend were to come to you, would you know how to respond? Where to go? The CARE office not only supports people impacted by violence, but is also a resource for family and friends. No matter the details of the situation, when someone confides in us, we always want to use supportive language and avoid victim blaming. Let's look at another example.
Hey, something happened last night. I went to this party and I ended up with this guy from my core class. We were talking a lot and he offered to walk me home, and I thought he was just being nice, like just offering, but we ended up alone together. And when I told him to stop, he didn't.
Are you sure?
What were you wearing?
Was it slutty?
Are you a virgin?
Where did you go?
Was anyone else there?
How much did you drink?
Were you alone?
Was it dark?
Were you leading him on?
Were you sending mixed signals?
Did you yell?
What did you expect?
Did you try to run?
Did you fight back?
Stop!
It doesn't matter what I was wearing. It doesn't matter who I was with, if I was drinking, what I was drinking, where I was walking, or what I've done in the past. I get that my friends were asking those questions because they were curious, but there's something more. They wanted to feel safe. They wanted to believe that if they just didn't act like I acted, or look the way I looked, or go where I went, that they'd be safe, but all those questions assume that I'm the one at fault for what happened to me. I'm not. The person who did this to me is responsible.
We know that people ask questions for two main reasons. The first is their own curiosity. It's human nature to want the details. That's why there will be 10 miles of traffic for a small accident on the road. Everyone slows down to see what happened.
The second reason is that asking these questions can help make us feel safer. If we know what the person was wearing, who they were with, how much they drank, or where they went, we feel like we can avoid being placed in those same situations just by avoiding those places, avoiding wearing those clothes, or avoiding that drink. Unfortunately, that's not true. Sexual violence often occurs in places that we feel safe, with people that we feel safe with, and what someone's wearing never matters.
When I went to my friends for help, I didn't want them to be judgmental. I wanted them to be supportive. It wasn't easy for me to share something so difficult and so personal. I really needed them to be there for me. So, this is how I wish they responded. Hi. I have to tell you two something. Something happened last night. I went to a party, and I ended up alone with this guy from my core class. He offered to walk me home, and I thought he was just being nice. But I ended up alone with him. And when I asked him to stop, he didn't.
I'm so sorry that happened. He was completely out of line.
I'm really glad you feel comfortable telling us. Do you feel safe here?
I'm pretty shaken up, but being with both of you two really helps.
Do you know what you want to do?
I don't know yet.
Do you want to talk about it at all?
I honestly feel a little overwhelmed right now. It's a lot. The whole thing just feels really surreal.
How can we help? I'm sorry, I don't know the right thing to say.
It's okay. I don't even know what my options are. I just wanted to let y'all know that this happened.
Well, if and when you are up for it, there is a confidential office in Kresge called CARE, and they can talk through all your options with you. They can work out issues related to housing, transportation, dining, even rearrange your class schedule. I know the people there. They're really nice. I went through their peer educator training last year.
Thanks to both of you. I was really scared, but I'm glad I told you.
It is our responsibility as members of this community to support, listen, and believe those who confide in us. It is never our role to be judgmental or dismissive. Instead, we need to create an atmosphere where those who've experienced violence feel able to come forward and know that they will be listened to and respected. This is essential in order to make UCSC a safer place for everyone, because only when we have these conversations can we begin to see the scope of the problem and address it.
Research has shown that bystander intervention is effective in preventing violence. Bystander intervention means noticing someone in trouble or a situation that seems potentially unsafe and then intervening in some way. This sounds simple enough, but in the moment, many people feel unsure how or when to intervene. So let's explore some of the most common reasons why people generally don't intervene.
We know that we are generally more likely to intervene if we believe we are the only ones witnessing a situation. If we're in a really crowded area and there's a lot of people around, we usually assume that if the situation really needed intervention, someone would have already taken action, or that we can just leave and eventually someone will do something. Unfortunately, people are usually all waiting on each other to act, and it often results in nothing being done at all.
Another reason is risk of embarrassment if the situation does not end up being an emergency. This tells us the fear of getting embarrassed can dramatically decrease the chance that you'll do anything.
We're also less likely to help if we perceive the person responsible for their own misfortune. For example, if we see someone who is extremely drunk in a potentially unsafe scenario, we might think that they should have known better than to drink so much. But what matters in the moment of risk isn't whether or not we agree with someone's actions. It's making sure that we look out for one another and help when we can.
Although it can be difficult to take action in a situation that doesn't directly involve you, there's no power greater than the power of peer influence in determining our behavior. If we see someone else modeling a helping behavior, we're more likely to help as well. That means that by stepping up, you're not only helping prevent one potentially unsafe situation, but you're also empowering everyone who witnesses your action to take action as well. That's why bystander intervention is so powerful, because it creates a culture where we look out for one another. Now let's discuss how bystander intervention can actually be implemented. In general, the ways to intervene fall under 3 categories. They are direct, delegate, and distract. Here are some examples of the 3 Ds in action.
Alrighty, so the first of the 3 Ds is direct, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Direct means getting directly involved in the situation and intervening yourself. All of them are situational, and this one works really well for people who feel comfortable asserting themselves, maybe your more outgoing friend, and make sure and you should also feel safe enough to get directly involved at that moment.
Waiting for an ad, everyone.
Shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Bad girls don't.
Okay, so the next one is distract. And distract is for those times when you want to check in or prevent a situation, but you don't want to directly confront what's going on. So this can be done in lots of different ways. It can be done like if you see someone who's clearly intoxicated, about to leave with someone they don't know, stop them, start a conversation. Usually this isn't a permanent solution, but distract gives everyone a chance to stop and think.
Down on my wrist in it, bitch. My pinky ring bigger than this. Matter how Dollar got 2
Delegate is useful for when you want to intervene, but you're not sure how to help or you don't feel comfortable becoming directly involved. This could be because you're shy and don't want to go talk to someone, or because you simply aren't sure how to best step in. In this case, you can delegate to someone else by bringing the situation to their attention and asking them to intervene. You can delegate to anyone you think might be better able to handle the situation. This could be a more outgoing friend, someone who knows the people involved, or someone with more authority, like an RA. Hey, James. James, do you think you could deal with this, please?
Oh my God, we talked 5 minutes ago! The type of intervention that makes the most sense will depend on the situation that you're involved in, as well as your own personal comfort level. We really don't want you to put yourself at greater risk, but we want to make you feel empowered to get involved when you see a situation going on where you do think you could be helpful.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is watch a video that we think does a really good job of demonstrating bystander intervention in action. Before we play the video, I just want to let you all know that it does deal with sexual assault. There's some kissing and undressing and a lot of tension building, but there is no explicit assault shown in the video. There are also some flashing lights in the beginning, so if that is a concern for you, please feel free to step out. The video is about 7 minutes long, so we just ask that if you do step out, you return to us at the end so we can wrap things up together.
Sexual assaults are happening to young women and men, and one more is too many. Visit whoareyou.co.nz for contact details, help and support. You can be the difference in how the story ends.
Emily! Thanks for bringing her home. Where are you staying tonight?
I was just going to stay here.
Sweet, I'll get your blanket for the couch.
Is she alright?
Wait here.
Stay there. You okay? You need a taxi? Oh, let's go.
Hi guys, what can I get you?
2 double rum and coke and 2 shots of vodka.
Sure.
So how's your night? Yeah, I'm alright.
Alright. Who are you here with?
Laura, Marcia, and
There? Sorry! Excuse me!
You okay? Thanks, mate. See ya. I'm gonna go home. You gonna go home? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, you okay? Alright. Yeah. See you, mate.
It's a pretty intense video, right? One thing that we like to do, and you can join me if you want, or you don't have to, but is to just take a deep breath together. So I'm just gonna inhale for a long time and exhale for a long time. Thank you. So the reason that we really like to use that video, despite the intensity, is because it does a really good job of showing the 3 types of bystander intervention: direct, distract, and delegate. The flatmate was direct with the guy, telling him that he had to sleep on the couch. The stranger delegated to the bouncer, who was able to directly intervene and get her safely into a cab. The bartender first distracted her from drinking more and then to find out who she was with. Then he delegated to her friend to get her safely home. The friend distracted the girl by suggesting that they leave the bar. Although the exact actions will vary, these approaches can work in almost every situation.
Bystander intervention is the willingness to step in and help someone in need. It is easy to think that if there are other people around, someone else will do it. But it's because of that idea that people in need often don't get help.
We must not ignore the acts of violence that occur all around us. Instead of being silent, let's replace moments of violence and inaction with moments of support and safety. Otherwise, we will continue to have our partners, family, friends, and coworkers experience violence. And that's not okay, and it can't be okay with any one of us. As we have just seen, the reactions to an unacceptable situation were simple and swift, but they had an extremely powerful impact. They prevented an act of violence from occurring.
We're not asking any of you to do this all the time. We know that for one person to be constantly vigilant is too much. We're simply asking that each of you commit to intervening one time ever where you wouldn't have before. One time that you see someone who's possibly at risk. One time that you see someone who's in a vulnerable state. And one time that you step up and check in on someone.
You may think that one time isn't a lot, and you're right, it's not. It's not a lot for you to do. But that one time really makes a difference. There are about 200 of you in this room, and that is 200 acts of potential violence that could be stopped. We're doing this presentation for every single new student on this campus. That means that 5,000 acts of violence could be stopped, just with each person we're talking to committing to do this one time ever. That has the potential to make a huge impact on the culture and safety of our campus. So next time you're unsure whether or not you should intervene, we encourage you to take action. Let's look out for one another and create a safer community.
Don't get up yet, we're almost there. I just want to take a moment to thank the really amazing cast behind me that's worked really tirelessly to put on this presentation for you all, so I'm going to clap. The last thing that we're going to do is just tell you about some resources both on and off campus so that we can all be aware of them. If you want, you can take pictures of the slides. They have like phone numbers and websites. This would be like the only appropriate time to use your phone during this presentation.
All right. So first, we're going to start with the resource that we're all here volunteering for today. It's CARE. CARE stands for Campus Advocacy Resources and Education. We have 2 professional advocates on staff in the CARE office, Tona, who came up and introduced herself earlier, as well as our violence prevention peer educator, Emma. It's really easy to find us online by searching UCSC CARE. And just for your information, we're located in Kresge 714, right across from the Owl's Nest, right by where the Kresge Town Hall is. Y'all are Kresge, right? You know where that is? Okay, cool. Awesome. We also offer trainings for anyone who's interested in becoming a peer educator. That would be helpful if you want to get involved with doing workshops, putting on presentations like these. We'd love to have more involvement and support. So if you are interested, we have like a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram account, UCSC CARE. You'll find us.
We really want to emphasize that in order for us to adequately discuss and address the issues of intimate partner violence on campus, we need to make sure that everyone's voices are welcomed and included. If there's anything you wish we talked about or would like to see programming around, or if you have any questions, we encourage you to approach us after the presentation, and we hope to see you at upcoming events.
We want to let you know about some other resources on campus. You either have or will hear from our Title IX office. The investigators there are available if you choose to report an instance of interpersonal violence, sexual harassment, or any other form of violence connected to our campus community.
The other confidential resource that we have on campus, in addition to CARE, is our Counseling and Psychological Services, CAPS. And CAPS will see students regardless of your insurance status. So it's a really common idea that you need UC-SHIP, but you don't. To see a CAPS therapist. It's included in your student fees. So you can call them. They have a regular line. They also have a 24-hour crisis hotline. And as we mentioned earlier, we have our very own trauma-informed CAPS psychologist housed in the CARE office, Dr. Louisa Ladd, and she's amazing. She's also free to see students. So.
Your RAs and CREs are always available for you to talk and more than willing to help in any way that they can. And if you need any help finding resources or just need their support, they're trained in providing both for you. However, we just want to reiterate that CARE and CAPS are the only confidential resources on campus, and we have a couple RAs in our cast today.
All right. SHOP stands for Student Health Outreach and Promotion. They are our sexual health resource and offer a variety of programs, including free, anonymous, blood-free peer HIV testing, where I am a counselor there, and also selling cheaper, safer sex supplies, and including condoms, which are 8 for $1, and I promise you that's the cheapest condoms that you're gonna find in your entire life. They also have a program called Birth Control Patrol, where peers help you decide the best birth control for you. And finally, there's the Slug Love program, a peer-to-peer comprehensive safer sex education program.
SHOP also has an alcohol and other drug educator named Jorge Bru, who's there to support anyone who wants to talk about issues they may be facing or find out how to support a friend. They offer a resource center for students in recovery called The Cove, which is located between Cowell College and the East Fieldhouse. So above the gym, above the pool, it's a little brown modular at the top of the hill.
UCSC also has 7 resource centers to provide students with social and academic support through campus and community programming. The resource centers include the African American Resource and Cultural Center, the American Indian Resource Center, the Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Center, the Chicanx Latino Resource Center, which are all located on the 3rd floor of the Bay Tree Bookstore, the Lionel Cantu Queer Center located behind Crown College, come say hi, I work there, and the Women's Center located at the base of campus. You can find more information about all these amazing places by Googling UCSC Resource Centers.
Lastly, we wanted to let you know about some off-campus resources. The Rape Crisis Center in Santa Cruz is called Monarch Services, and they help anyone impacted by sexual assault or dating violence. Another local domestic violence resource is Walnut Avenue Family and Women's Center. Both of them offer 24-hour hotlines, free advocacy, and both serve anyone regardless of gender.
Woo, that's the end of our presentation. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Like our Facebook.